Hello everyone, welcome to Educare 247. This is the 25th lecture in our special revision series for SEBI Grade A examinations. In this lecture, we will be discussing the MCQs on structure and functions of Reserve Bank of India. Now, Reserve Bank of India is a part of syllabus of finance for SEBI Grade A exams. It comes under the heading Financial System and Regulators of Financial Institutions in India. So now let's begin with the first question number 1. RBI was established with an initial share capital of A. 5 crore rupees, B. 10 crore rupees, C. 15 crore rupees, or D. 20 crore rupees. So the answer to this question is A. 5 crore rupees. So now let us understand a bit more about the history of the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India was established on April 1st, 1935 in accordance with the provision of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So when it was established in 1935, it did not start as a government-owned bank, but rather as a privately held bank. So RBI, when it was established, it was a private bank, not a government bank, right? It started with a share capital of rupees 5 crore, which was divided into 5 lakh equity share of rupees 100 each, fully paid up. Out of this rupees 5 crore, the amount of 4 crore 97 lakh 80,000 was subscribed by private shareholders, and only rupees 2 lakh 20,000 was subscribed by the central government. So basically it was a private bank when it was established. Only after the independence of India, RBI was nationalized, and then it started working as a government bank. The nationalization of RBI took place in 1949, and from 1st January 1949, RBI started working as a government-owned bank. Now moving on to question number 2. The Reserve Bank's affairs are governed by a central board of directors. How many members are there in the central board? A. 19, B. 20, C. 21, or D. 23? The answer to this question is C. 21. The 21-member central board of directors consists of, so altogether there are 21 members in the central board of directors, and they consist of first the official directors. Under the official directors, one governor and 4 deputy governors fall under the official directors, right? And then we have non-official directors. So under the non-official directors, we have 4 directors, one from each of the 4 local boards constituted under section 9 of the act. See, apart from central board of directors, RBI also has 4 local boards for each of the 4 regions of India: the northern, eastern, western, and southern region of India. So the directors of the local boards, one each director of the local boards, of the 4 local boards, they also form part of the central boards. Then there are 10 other directors nominated by the central government, and the board also has 2 government officials. So previously there used to be only 1 government official in the central board, but now 2 government officials are appointed in the central board, right? So if you add all of these members, 2, 10, 4, 1 governor and 4 deputy governors, then you get 21 altogether, 21 members in the central board of directors, right? The members of the central board are appointed, nominated by the central government as per the Reserve Bank of India Act, right? So how many members are there? There are 21 members in the central board of directors. Educare offers various courses for SEBI Grade A examinations. We have comprehensive courses for SEBI Grade A 2020, which consists of syllabus of both paper 1 and 2. Then we have MCQ courses for SEBI Grade A 2020 for paper 2. And we also have SEBI Grade A 2020 crash course for both phase 1 and phase 2. You can apply with coupon code SEBI SEBI and avail discounts on comprehensive courses and crash courses. However, since MCQ courses are already available at a discounted price, no further discount is available in this course. You can enroll on these various courses on the basis of your stage of preparation for the exams, right? So now on to the third question. Who is the longest serving governor of the Reserve Bank of India? A. Sir Chintamani Deshmukh, B. Amitav Ghosh, C. Sir Benegal Ramarao, or D. Shri Shaktikanta Das. So the answer is C. Sir Benegal Ramarao. He is the longest serving governor of the Reserve Bank of India. Now let's look at a few other important governors of RBI. Now see, all the governors of RBI are important. Obviously, it is not that some governors are more and some are less important, but I am saying important here from the exam point of view. Okay, so these governors are frequently asked in the exam, so they are important for your exams. So who are these governors? First, the first governor. So this question is frequently asked, like who is the first governor of the Reserve Bank of India? So your answer is Sir Osborne Smith. So he was a non-Indian governor, right? And he served as a governor from 1935 to 1937. Then the second governor is Sir James Bright Taylor, again non-Indian governor. And these two governors are important because they were the initial governors, right? So they are frequently asked in the exams. Now the third governor and the first Indian governor of Reserve Bank of India is Sir Chintamani Deshmukh. Now he is very important because he is the first Indian governor, right? So Sir Chintamani Deshmukh is also frequently asked in your exams. Then we have the shortest serving governor. He is Mr. Amitav Ghosh. He served from January 15, 1985 to February 4, 1985, only for 20 days. So he is the shortest serving governor of RBI. Then the longest serving governor, as we all already saw, is Sir Benegal Rama Rao, right? He served from July 1st, 1949 to January 14, 1957. So he served for over 7 years, the longest serving governor of RBI. And the current and the 25th governor, is Shri Shaktikanta Das. So he is also important because he is serving at this moment, right? Right now, the governor of RBI is Shri Shaktikanta Das. So now let's move to question number 4. Which of the following is not a subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India? A. Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, DICGC. B. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mundran Private Limited, BRB and MPL. C. Indian Financial Technology and Allied Services, IFTAS. Or D. National Housing Bank, NHB. So which of the following is not a subsidiary? So the answer here is D. National Housing Bank, NHB. It is not a subsidiary of RBI. Now NHB used to be a fully owned subsidiary of RBI, but RBI has sold its entire stake on NHB to the government of India. So now RBI does not have any stake in the National Housing Bank. The entire stake of NHB lies now in the hands of the government. So NHB is basically now owned by the government of India, not RBI. At present, RBI has 4 fully owned subsidiaries. They are first, Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, DICGC. Then Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mundran Private Limited, BRB and MPL. Third, the Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited, REBIT. And fourth, Indian Financial Technology and Allied Services, IFTAS. So these are 4 fully owned subsidiaries of Reserve Bank of India. Now question number 5. Which of the following functions are prohibited to RBI? So which of the following functions cannot be performed? RBI is prohibited to perform. A. To provide any direct financial assistance to any industry, trade or business. B. To purchase its own shares. C. To purchase any immovable property. Or D. All of the above. So the answer here is all of the above, D. So RBI can perform none of these functions. All of these functions are prohibited to RBI. Now let's look at a few more other prohibitory functions of the Reserve Bank of India. See, first, it cannot provide any direct financial assistance to any industry, trade or business. So it cannot directly lend, right, to any industry, but it can perform refinance activities, like it can finance other financial institutions, which in turn finance the different sectors in India. Then we have, it cannot purchase its own shares. It cannot purchase shares of any commercial and industrial undertaking. Fourth, it cannot purchase any immovable property. And fifth, it cannot give loans on securities of shares and properties. So these prohibitory functions are also important, and questions are often asked from these prohibitory functions. So there are only few functions that are prohibited, easy to remember. So you should remember all of these 5 prohibitory functions, right? Now let's move on to number 6. Which method is used in India currently for issuance of currency notes? A. Fractional reserve system. B. Minimum reserve system. C. Maximum reserve system. Or D. Proportional reserve system. So the answer here is B. Minimum reserve system. Now we all know that RBI, it prints currency in India, right? It is the sole authority for issuance of currency in India. But can RBI print currency anytime or any amount as it wants? No, that cannot happen. RBI has to follow a certain system, certain regulations while printing currency. And currently the system that is followed is your minimum reserve system. So what is a minimum reserve system? See, under minimum reserve system, RBI is required to hold a minimum reserve of rupees 200 crores. So only when it holds minimum reserves of 200 crores, it can print money. And even in this 200 crores, rupees 115 crores is to be held in gold. So after RBI holds 115 crores in golds and a total of 200 crore reserves, then only RBI can print money. After holding this amount of reserves, 200 crores, then RBI can print any amount of money as per the requirement of the economy. But minimum reserve that has to be maintained is 200 crores. So with to the end of this video. If you found the video useful, then do like and share the video, and stay tuned to our channel for more videos on different topics of SEBI Grade A exams. Thank you.